My family missed the biggest milestone of my life. No call, no text, nothing. Just a silence so sharp it cut deeper than any insult. So when the announcement about my valuation started spreading, when my name started circulating online, I wasn't expecting anything from them. But then my phone buzzed with a message from my father. Short, formal, cold. Family dinner at 7 p.m. We need to talk. I stared at the notification, feeling something shift. Not hope, not dread, but something much colder. This wasn't reconciliation. This was the start of their reckoning. I was still at my office when the text arrived. The city glittered behind the floor-to-ceiling windows like someone had scattered stars over glass. Papers covered my desk, plans, forecasts, contracts, but for once none of it felt like a weight on me. It had taken years to get here. Endless nights, borrowed workspaces, mornings where I woke up with keyboard marks on my cheek. And now my company's valuation had gone public. People were talking, investors were circling, and for the first time in years it felt like the world finally saw me. But my family, they'd always seen something else. My father, Gregory, insisted real business existed only in concrete and property, not in digital experiments. My mother, Helena, treated my work like a quirky phase I'd eventually abandon. Marcus spoke to me like a sage from a mountain he'd never climbed. And Dylan mostly filmed himself and waited for life to drop rewards in his lap. So that message, family dinner, important discussion. It wasn't about me. It never had been. Still, a tiny part of me paused. A fragile piece that remembered being 21, standing in a cramped dorm room waiting for a good luck call that never came. The part that remembered sleeping in my car because rent was due and my parents said hardship built character. The part that, even after headlines and success, still wondered whether showing up again might finally change something. But hoping for change is a dangerous habit. I shut my laptop and reached for my jacket, the plain one I always wore to family gatherings because blending in was easier than explaining myself. My new SUV stayed untouched in the garage. Instead, I took the old sedan with the peeling steering wheel and temperamental AC, the one they recognized. Staying understated made them predictable. And predictable people make mistakes. All the way to the country club, memories surfaced like bruises. Missed milestones, holiday dinners that felt like obligations. The way their attention always tilted toward whoever sparkled most for them at the moment. And how, over time, I'd learned to shrink so their disappointment wouldn't feel so enormous. But tonight was different. Tonight, I wasn't coming to be acknowledged. I was coming with my eyes wide open. The club sat on a hill outside the city, lit dramatically as if desperate to impress. I parked behind a row of gleaming luxury cars. My sedan creaked when I closed the door. I rested my hand on the roof for a moment, steadying myself. This place used to feel neutral. Now it felt like a stage ready for a performance I already knew too well. Inside, the marble floor echoed under my shoes. The air smelled of citrus polish and old money. A scent from childhood nights spent hovering at the edges of conversations I was never invited to join. A valet nodded at me, then glanced past me as though expecting someone more important. I kept walking. Near the private dining room, I heard them before I saw them. Their laughter was quick, practiced. Noise used to fill emptiness, not joy. When I pushed open the door, they all looked up at once, caught off guard mid-act. My father stood first, his smile stretched too wide. Arms open like I'd returned victorious from some grand battle. Rose finally. My mother kissed my cheek and pulled back immediately, frowning. You look worn out. Are you eating properly? Marcus smirked over the rim of his wine glass. Dylan barely lifted his gaze from his phone. I sat down, placed just slightly apart from the rest of them. Probably intentional. We started with shallow small talk, polished until it felt hollow. They asked about my little startup and my busy schedule, their tones dripping with polite condescension. I answered calmly, letting them play out their charade. Then Marcus leaned back, eyes sharp with calculation. So you were in the news today? My father nodded. Quite the headline. Must be exciting. Exciting. As if he meant troublesome. And that's when the atmosphere shifted, the moment their masks slipped. My mother glanced at Gregory. Marcus cleared his throat with that rehearsed rhythm he used before presenting an idea. I felt the trap before it sprung, a familiar tightening in my chest. My father steepled his fingers and leaned forward. We actually gathered tonight to talk to you about something important, Rose. There it was. The real reason I was summoned. The first thread of everything beginning to unravel. My father didn't bother easing into it. The moment he said something important, the atmosphere shifted. The warmth in the room dimmed, the idle chatter evaporated, and every set of eyes fixed on me with the same quiet, hungry intensity. I recognized that look, not from family, but from opportunistic investors who show up to take, not collaborate. Victor straightened his posture like he was about to launch into a lecture. As you're aware, he began, brushing invisible dust from his jacket, the motel chain has been dealing with a few difficulties. He dressed the word difficulties in silk, as if a pretty wrapping could soften the blow. Gregory jumped in before I could respond. We're on the verge of a major breakthrough, he said. A complete overhaul of the flagship property, spa, remodeled suites, a proper event venue. The full upgrade. I held back a laugh. That flagship property was being held together by nostalgia and prayer. Marcus leaned forward, elbows on the table, confidence dripping from each word. This is legacy-level stuff, Rose. The kind of long-term asset your tech venture simply can't compete with. Tech venture. Adorable. My mother gently rested her hand on my arm, her touch trembling. Sweetheart, this is a chance to be part of the family's future. To give back. We supported you for so long. It's only natural. Natural. Sure. All of them stared at me, waiting for the version of me they remembered. The quiet daughter eager to please, desperate for inclusion. Gregory clasped his hands, slipping into his corporate tone. We need a short-term loan. Just $1.5 million. You have credit, connections, recognition. He said recognition like it was a light switch he expected me to flip for them. We'll repay it with interest, Victor added quickly. As soon as the construction financing is approved. This is your chance to be part of the family business. The family empire. Empire. I almost snorted, but I held it in. I scanned their faces, the sheen of sweat on my father's temple, Victor's fidgeting fingers, Marcus's too-wide grin, Dylan finally lifting his eyes from his phone and offering a weak, unearned nod. There was a time when their combined pressure would have crushed me, when their approval felt like survival, when I thought dependence was love. But I wasn't starving anymore, and I wasn't something they could feast on. I placed my napkin on the table, smoothing it with slow precision. So, I said evenly, you ignored the biggest accomplishment of my life, but now you show up for this. No one answered. The silence folded around us, thick and hot. My father's jaw twitched. Stop being dramatic. This is about family. Family. The word hit like a dropped stone. I looked him in the eye, calm and unmoving. I didn't come here to save an empire you already set on fire. My mother inhaled sharply. Victor froze. Marcus's smirk faltered. And inside me something aligned, solid and unshakable. They thought they were backing me into a corner, but all they did was open the exit I'd been waiting for. The room remained motionless. Even the ventilation hummed quieter, as if it knew to keep still. Gregory leaned back, his practiced warmth disappearing. So that's your position? He asked. You're really going to lecture us about sacrifice? About loyalty? Marcus scoffed. A little publicity goes to her head, and she thinks she's better than us. My mother dabbed non-existent tears. We're trying to bring you in, Rose. Don't make this something ugly. Ugly. If they only knew. Victor laced his fingers, adopting that condescending calm he used on anxious clients. Let's not escalate. $1.5 million is nothing compared to your valuation. This benefits everyone. Everyone. I repeated slowly. Tell me, Victor, when exactly did you think about what benefited me? Was it when I asked Dad for help getting my first apartment lease? Or when I applied to an accelerator, and you called it a hobby pretending to be ambition? His expression hardened. I was trying to guide you. No, I said softly, each word sharp as glass. You were trying to confine me to the limits you set. But I outgrew them. Gregory's grip tightened around his wine glass. We're not digging up old issues. We're trying to build something meaningful. Something permanent. Something permanent, I echoed. Like the leaking motel roofs? Or the broken heater you haven't fixed? Or the overdue maintenance bills stacked on your desk? Silence splintered through the room. My mother paled. Marcus straightened. Victor's eyes narrowed. Gregory blinked. How would you know? I pay attention, I cut in. I always have. You just never paid attention to me. Dylan finally set down his phone. Rose, what are you implying? I looked at him, then at each of them. You're not looking for a partner. You're looking for a flotation device. Victor's polite expression cracked. That's absurd. I reached into my bag, moving calmly, deliberately, like someone about to unveil a truth they've waited years to say out loud. I came tonight to hear what version of the story you'd tell. And you didn't disappoint. Same manipulation, same guilt tactics, same entitlement. Marcus threw up his hands. Stop being dramatic. If Dad says the properties are stable, they're stable. Are they? I asked. I laid a plain, heavy folder on the table. I came prepared, with the one thing you never expected, I murmured. Just the truth. Gregor's eyes narrowed. And what truth is that? Before I could answer, the door swung open. Ava stepped inside. She always moved with quiet intentionality. Blazer crisp, posture straight, gaze sharp enough to dissect a room in seconds. But tonight there was an edge to her composure. Purpose. Finality. She came straight to my side, ignoring the stunned faces frozen around the table. It's done, she said. All transfers are officially processed. My father shot up from his chair so quickly it screeched against the floor. Transfers? He barked. Transfers of what exactly? Ava set a small stack of papers in front of me. I nudged them toward him. Your motel chain, I said evenly. Every liability. Every overdue payment. Every neglected obligation. All of it. Victor's voice splintered. That's not possible. The bank hasn't approved. The bank sold the debt, Ava interrupted, her tone calm and professional. Last week. To a private buyer. Gregory's confusion twisted into something darker. What buyer? My gaze met his. Me. The silence that followed wasn't still. It imploded. The kind of silence people fall into when the world they built suddenly has no floor. My father opened his mouth, shut it, opened it again. A fish gasping on dry land. Marcus shoved his chair back. Disbelief etched across his face. Dylan muttered something soft and shaky, half fear, half prayer. My mother finally whispered. Rose, what did you do? What you left me no choice but to do, I said. You wanted me to invest in your empire. But there is no empire, just a mountain of debt so steep no institution would touch it. Victor snatched a paper and skimmed the numbers. His face drained of color as the reality sank in. Months of unpaid invoices, safety violations, expired permits, ignored contractor warnings. This, he stammered. This isn't even fixable. It is fixable, I corrected. Just not by any of you. Gregory found his voice again. Thick with barely contained fury. You think embarrassing me in front of my own family makes you powerful? You think a big payday gives you the right to act like a god? I leaned in slightly. I'm not acting like anything. I'm cleaning up your wreckage. And I'm done pretending you're still capable of leading. Marcus shot forward in his chair. You blindsided us. You could have said something. Said what? I replied. That I wasn't going to be your walking ATM? That I wasn't interested in being the family's emergency exit. My mother reached toward me, tears finally spilling over. Rose, please. This business is our life. Our home. And it will keep going, I said quietly. Just not under your direction. Ava slid another envelope across the table. My offer for their buyout. $200,000. Final. Fair. A fresh start. Gregory glared at the envelope like it might burn him. I don't want your charity. It's not charity, I said. It's severance. He slammed his palm on the table. If you walk out with this, you're no daughter of mine. For once, the words didn't sting. They set me free. I rose from my seat, smoothing my jacket. You're right, I said. I'm not the daughter you imagined. I'm the daughter you created. Arguments erupted. Marcus demanding answers, Victor mumbling about lawsuits, Dylan whispering curses, but my father just stared at the papers, realizing this wasn't a debate. I took a step back, letting their chaos spiral. They tore into each other, panicked, angry, desperate. Exactly as I knew they would. Ava held the door open. Before walking out, I looked at them one last time. Not with spite, not with triumph, but with resolve. I didn't come here to save your legacy, I said. I came to end my role in it. Then I walked out. The night air hit my skin cool and clean, like stepping into a world that wasn't demanding anything from me. Ava matched my pace, her heels clicking softly on the pavement. You doing okay? She asked, not concerned, just present. Better than okay, I said. And for the first time in years it was true. I stopped waiting for them to become people they've never been. My old sedan sat under the streetlight, but I didn't need the disguise tonight. Ava handed me the keys to my real car. A sleek SUV that actually belonged to the life I built. You don't have to hide anymore, she said. When I slid into the driver's seat, I felt something heavy fall away. Old expectations. Old patterns. Old versions of myself that only existed to keep the peace. My phone buzzed, my mother's number lighting up like a trembling ghost. I watched it ring and fade. Then I blocked the number without a second thought. As I pulled onto the road, the city stretched in front of me like possibility, wide, bright, open. A future that didn't need their permission. People say family is forever. But sometimes forever is just how long you let them break you. Walking away from that country club, I understood something clean and sharp. Blood doesn't define family. Behavior does. And mine only ever reached for me when they smelled opportunity. So if you've ever chosen yourself over people who only took from you, hear this. You're not selfish. You're reclaiming your life. If this resonated with you, tell me where you're watching from.